Okay, so these are the vegetables for beef stew, homemade beef stew. I've got you use 6 or 7 cloves of garlic, 2 stalks of celery, 2 whole carrots, that's a sweet Vidalia onion, 2 whole potatoes, fresh green beans, and this is all gonna get chopped, cut, sliced, and diced. So the green beans, the ends have been chopped off and cut into a nice bite size. Cloves of garlic have been crushed and sliced. Onion, the 2 stalks of celery. I only used 1.5 carrots because that ended up being a lot of carrots. And the 2 potatoes are peeled and diced. So in the Instapot, because we're going to slow cook in here, I'm going to make a little mirepoix, which is vegetables. They're not sauteed, they're just slow cooked. A mirepoix. So it's just slow cooked. You don't brown them or anything. You just want to bring the sweet flavors out. So I put the garlic in, I put in the carrots and celery and onion, and we're just gonna let this like nice heating. We're gonna bring all those flavors out of the celery and the onion. And we buy bulk carrots, you know, the bulk carrots, not in the bag. They just have a wonderful sweet flavor. Next, we'll put in the green beans and the beef stock that we've had frozen. So right now we're just making a mirepoix. Gonna heat up these vegetables and get the flavoring come out. So while the mirepoix is sweetening itself, we have some Black Angus beef stew that we purchased. So it was cool. I mean, they give these really big chunks, and to me, I don't like these big chunks of meat in the beef stew. So I'm going to cut these all down to smaller pieces and then place them in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag with some cornstarch to mix it up, so when we put it into the stew, that will help thicken it. So this is Black Angus beef stew meat. I'm not sure what cut they use at Jewel or Valley's. Go wherever you want. I'm going to cut the pieces into smaller pieces and put them in a gallon Ziploc bag. So this is the meat that I just showed you when I cut it up. You flip down the sides. Always flip down the sides when you're throwing stuff in a Ziploc bag, because then when you put it up, all that gooey is on the inside and not all on the outside. Next, I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, heapings, and just throw them in here with the meat. A little dab will do you. Extra dab. Make sure there's some air in there. Zip it off. And I want all this cornstarch to coat the meat. This is what it should look like. See, just a little bit of cornstarch all over the little pieces of meat. This will help thicken the beef stew as it's cooking. In this container is some beef stock that we made when we braised some beef ribs a couple weeks ago, when we froze it for situations like this where we're making beef stew and we needed some fresh stock. I did take a lot of the grease out that's floating because we don't want that in the stew. So everybody's going to go in the pool and we're going to let it slow cook. Beef, the potatoes, the green beans, the mirepoix that we put in before, which is the garlic, the carrots, the celery, the onion. So it's all in here now. The stock meat's on top. The last thing I'm going to put in is petite diced tomatoes and a small can of tomato paste, and then a little bit of water. So I'm going to mix in the diced tomatoes and the tomato paste, and I'm going to use the little bit of juice here to add water. Not much water, because you want it to be more stewy than soupy. So, you know, it's to your discretion. It's your Mystic Kitchen that you're cooking this in. So we got a little ground black pepper and some salt. Put a little bit of salt and pepper and a little bit of water to cover everything, because it's going to make its own juices too. Let it cook for about 6 to 8 hours on slow in the slow cooker. Okay, so it's been cooking for about 45 minutes. I put 2.5 tablespoons of beef soup base and seasoning into the pot. Now it's just gonna cook for about 6 hours, pretty slow, 6, 7, 8 hours. You just taste how you want it. One last thing that I'm adding, and keep count, are bay leaves. I'm putting in 5 bay leaves. So before you serve this, you want to make sure you take out 5 bay leaves so someone doesn't get a bay leaf in their stew. This has a nice flavor to anything, beef stew, split pea, soups, but bay leaves. 5 bay leaves are going in. So the stew's coming along. Been about 6 hours, all the fresh vegetables and the meat are cooking. Lastly, we're gonna put a can of navy beans in. You can put any kind of beans you'd like. Eliminate the beans totally. You don't have to have beans. We want some navy beans in our stew, so this would be about the time to do it. After about 6 hours, because these are canned, so you just really need to heat them up.